righty. Well, I am back. It is Peaches here, Peaches Pit Party on this fine Monday, September 9th. Did I really just say Monday? Tuesday, September 9th, 2025. Oh, man, it has been weird being back here today, to say the least. I forgot exactly where I left off previously on all these behind-the-scenes projects right before I went on vacation. Went back home to Southern California. It was so nice. Felt like the longest and shortest week at the same time because I did so much during that time. Like, literally, right as I landed, I drove the rental car to my parents' place. Friday, August 29th was my birthday. I literally landed back home on my birthday. We then immediately drove to Kobe Japanese Steakhouse. Had a great birthday dinner there. Then Saturday, woke up early, picked up my friend Christian, drove to Laguna Beach, walked all around there, and it just went on from there. You know, there was a bunch of stuff that we did that entire week, and yeah, it was a whole lot of fun. I'm looking forward to my next trip back. I don't know when that is going to be. I rarely ever take time off, but when I do, it's to go visit back home, see the family. I'm hoping my dad and my sister can make their way to Idaho Falls this fall, just like they did 2 years ago. Come see all the haunted attractions in the area and all of that. Should be a whole lot of fun. Anyway, if you want to get a hold of me, you can over at 208-535-1015. I feel like I missed out on a lot of great new music. I feel like I've missed out on a lot of different things. So I guess I'll play one brand new track for you today at the top of the 5 p.m. hour for It's So New here on Peaches Pit Party. We'll talk some more about whatever coming soon on K-Bear 101. I was hoping to make my return to the airwaves yesterday, but I just had to help my girlfriend move into her new apartment. She had to 5 p.m. yesterday to get all of her stuff out of the old one into the new. And of course, the new one is on the 3rd floor. And there's no elevator. For some reason, I don't understand why any of those buildings don't have elevators. All right? Isn't that not ADA compliant, something like that? Or if you are disabled and you can't go up the stairs, do you just automatically get a first-story apartment? I don't know. But we had to take the stairs multiple times to move stuff, like move her bed frame, her couch, all of this. Luckily, her younger brother, who was helping out with the move yesterday, hence why I was gone yesterday. I was gone all day yesterday because, I took the day off to help her, but I ended up getting, somewhat sick Sunday night into Monday. My nose was all stuffed up. I'm okay today, but it was a whole lot worse yesterday. It was like one of those one-day sickness things. I'm like, you know what? Even though I still don't feel well, of course I'm going to help her move, because I originally thought it was only me and her moving all of that stuff. Luckily, all of her family came and helped out as well. We would not have gotten done without the help of her entire crew. But man, oh man, does it suck moving things. Everyone expects, the big guy to be able to lift up the bed on my own and the couch and all of that. It's like, come on, can I just, take it easy once and maybe carry a box or two? Not be the designated guy to carry the whole entire bed frame? Anyway, it was a successful move. Turned out real well. I got to go back to her place tonight to get everything in order. We got all the stuff in the apartment, but none of it's where it should be. It's all her bed's on the floor. We're going to put that on the bed frame, all of that stuff. And yeah, the joys of moving. I took an entire day off yesterday just to help somebody move. If that doesn't show that I'm one of the best friends, best significant others out there, I don't know what does. Peaches Pit Party on K-Bear 101. We are giving away tickets to go see Mudvayne, Static X, and Vended live at the Portneuf Health Trust Amphitheater on Friday, October 3rd. Now, there's no puzzle with this. There's really nothing. It's just, hey, listen for back-to-back tracks from any one of the three bands. Most likely, it'll just be Mudvayne that we play back-to-back on the air, because I don't think we have any Vended tracks in the library. I think we might have one or two, actually. Never mind. But anyway, if you hear back-to-back tracks from Mudvayne, Static X, or Vended, be caller 20 when you do at 208-535-1015. This is your last chance to win tickets to that awesome show. Mudvayne, Static X, Vended, live at the Portneuf Health Trust Amphitheater on Friday, October 3rd with K-Bear 101. I've been having this somewhat battle with command strips because I'm trying my best to not use more nails to, put holes into the wall and everything. I've been trying to just to use command strips for the time being. As I live in an apartment, I don't necessarily want to put more holes like I mentioned, and then next thing you know, I got to patch the holes, get everything looking nice and clean for when I do eventually move out. So I just started using command strips again. And sure enough, the first thing we hung up, it was my ticket shadow box. This box that you put in your tickets, like your actual physical tickets you get from events. Very rarely does that happen anymore. But when I do, I put them in that special box. So me and my girlfriend were at my place. We put the thing on the wall. We're in the dining room just eating. Next thing you know, I hear a crash. I'm like, oh, please tell me that wasn't the box. Sure enough, we go in the other room. It broke. Everything came out. The corner came off. Luckily, we glued it back together. It's back to being somewhat new. But that was the first thing that crashed. Then I used command strips on a framed photo that I got in Southern California of all the different Long Beach, California things, like the landmarks and stuff. Got that 16 by 20 frame, hung it up on the wall with command strips. I was sleeping last night. All of a sudden, I hear this crash that woke me up. I'm like, wait, was that my CPAP? No, it can't be because I still feel air coming through the tube, so it wasn't my CPAP. My CPAP would have stopped working if it fell to the floor. And I look to the right, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. It was that frame with all my stuff. It was not with all my stuff. It was my frame with my Long Beach poster just right there on the floor. Frame cracked in half. That one's done for. I have to throw it away. And my girlfriend and I were planning on doing this whole maximalist wall in the second bedroom of all the cool signed stuff that I've ever gotten. I was going to use command strips for all of those, but now after dealing with already two things falling from the walls, command strips have really gone down in quality. I've talked about that before. They really do not do their job anymore. They used to be fantastic, but I don't know if we just used them wrong or what. I don't know, but I might have to, sacrifice, put in a few holes in the wall just to have stuff hang up and sit there. I don't know. It was something dumb to talk about. I just hopped in the air, was like, I'm thinking more about this whole command strip fiasco I've been having. Anyway, let's move on to some Star Set Silos. It's Peach's Pit Party on K-Bear 101. The first shot clock sports update in about a week or so, maybe more. The Sunday night football game between the Bills and Ravens was an instant classic, with the Bills beating the Ravens in an epic comeback as the teams were leaving the field in Buffalo. A chucklehead at the front row reached over the railing and hit wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins on the helmet, and then hit the quarterback Lamar Jackson on the helmet. Jackson shoved the fan back and later admitted after the game that he just forgot where I was for a little bit, and hopefully it won't happen again. Well, the fan who shoved Hopkins and Jackson was ejected from the game and is indefinitely banned from all NFL stadiums. Could you imagine that? By the way, maybe I'll talk about this in a separate break. On Sunday afternoon, we get a rematch of the Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles playing in Kansas City against the Chiefs. Amazingly, this will be the first time in 3 years the Chiefs are home underdogs, with the line currently in favor of the Eagles at minus 0.5. It's also worth noting the Chiefs lost the last time they were home underdogs, dropping a matchup against the Buffalo Bills after Josh Allen threw the game-winning touchdown with a minute left. The legend of Philly's Karen lives on, thanks to the Savannah Bananas. Now, I don't know much about the whole Philly's Karen thing. My dad sent me a meme about it. I need to watch the video. I don't know what happened here. I'm assuming some lady freaked out at a ballpark, something like that. Well, the Savannah Bananas team, staged a fan confrontation in the bleachers of Petco Park in San Diego with a costumed Grinch yelling at a guy, and just like Philly's Karen, apparently, taking a baseball away from his son and walking away with it. So I'm assuming it was one of those old ladies with the terrible haircut that, took a baseball, ran away from it. There was also that whole thing about that CEO that stole, so this baseball player gave his hat, a signed hat, to a kid, but then this CEO of that was in the audience took the signed hat from the kid and ran away with it as well. You have to be a sick human being, really, to take something away from a young kid at a baseball game. That does it for your Shot Clock Sports Update right here on K-Bear 101. So, of course, this past weekend was the first weekend of many for NFL football. The NFL season has started, and I was going to mention this during the Shot Clock Sports Update, but I figured it would need its own break, really. So my team, well, if you haven't heard about this yet, if you haven't heard me talk about it, me and 9 other people in this building are in a fantasy football league. It's called the Riverbend Red Zone. And I was the one who conducted the whole draft, got our general manager on board, got a few people from sales on board, got Josh and Chantel from Classy 97 in the league as well, Justin from 105 The Hawk. And, well, I won my first game. I won my first week, 144 points, the most out of anybody in the league. Chantel, Classy 97, only had 76 points. Also, Maddie, the marketing assistant, 90 points. I was talking about it with my dad in Southern California, and I was also talking about it on the phone with him just on my lunch break about trying to get a whole fantasy football trophy made, because I've talked about it before, how my parents own a trophy store in Downey, California. And they actually have a little figurine of a guy in a football uniform sitting on a couch, and it's a whole like fantasy football trophy. We might just need to get one of those giant trophies, and whoever wins the league gets that trophy. And like I talked about before, the loser has to do a promo on all stations talking about, hi, in this case, I'm hoping that it's not me, but if it was me, I'd be doing, hi, I'm Peaches, I'm the loser of the fantasy league, blah, 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 blah. Who knows? I won the first game of the season, the first matchup of the season, but who knows what can happen now. I could lose all the rest of them. Fantasy football's weird. It's definitely irritating whenever a player gets injured. They get put on the sideline for multiple weeks, and you have to keep watching other players and scouting other players. It's a whole thing. I know. Josh from Classy 97, his team is struggling with injuries. He has 5 or 6 people that are questionable for this week, and also one of them is suspended. I forgot exactly what Jordan Addison did to get suspended for 4 games, but it must have been bad. Anyway, here's Lincoln Park up from the bottom on Peach's Pit Party. It's KBR 101. I guess there's a big question online right now. What is the 4th best city in America? People around the country have conceded that the top 3 are New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, which I've been to 2 out of the 3. I haven't been to Chicago yet, but New York, a lot of the big cities, if you're wanting to go to them and experience them. And everyone's going to have their own personal opinion. To me, I don't like the traffic. I don't like the overcrowdedness. I don't like having to, every single time I go to LA, I have to wait till after 7 p.m. in order to leave LA and go back to my parents' place because the traffic is so bad from 4 to 7. It's not even worth it. You don't want to take what's usually a 30-minute commute now has turned into an hour and a half because of the gridlock, and it's not fun whatsoever. People always glorify the big cities on TV shows and movies, but in reality, if I don't know, if you like the hustle and bustle of New York, go there. If you want to go to Los Angeles and live there, go for it. I'm not going to talk bad about it. But it's entirely up to you. For me, the small town lifestyle, also not for me. I need to find a good middle ground, like the place I grew up in, like the Orange County area. Loved that area. But people are still trying to figure out what is the 4th best city. So residents of Washington, D.C., they think their city is the 4th best city because it's the center of power and history in the country. San Francisco says their city is the 4th best, which San Francisco is one of those cities, man. You're going to have to make at least $300,000 a year in order to afford a nice little apartment there. It's not that great. Plus, the city, no one really talks about how hilly San Francisco is. There's so many different hills. You're going to be working out every single time you want to go for a walk outside. You have to go at a steep incline. You also have to go downhill. It's annoying. Miami, also in the talks for the 4th best city in America. Miami cites its diversity and Latin culture. I've never been to Miami, but it's always been a dream vacation destination. I don't know about living there, but Florida seems like one of those places where it's going to be way too hot, way too humid. Back home, when I was there for that week, it was one of those weird summers, weird times where it was extremely hot and Unlike here, I sweat immediately when I walked outside. When I was back home in Southern California, I would go outside and just immediately be drenched. I just took a shower like 5 minutes beforehand. It all got ruined. I don't like the whole humid heat, you know? It's not great. Fourth best, I mean, this is all subjective, really. I mean, no one can really say, hey, we're the number 1 city, number 2 city, number 3 city, number 4 city. If I had to do a power ranking in my top 4 cities, oh, man. I don't know. I feel like I would go for Laguna Beach, California. That has to be a top 1 for me. San Diego, another one for me. What other cities are there that I really, really like? I mean, I haven't really traveled to many besides places in Southern California or here, like, you know, Idaho Falls, Pocatello, Rexburg, Salt Lake City, Boise. Boise could be up there, too. Maybe I should ask that for DePeach Theron later this afternoon. What's the 4th best city in America? All right, so I thought this was pretty funny. There's a subreddit called just Gen Z, r/Gen Z. This person wrote, just heard on the radio that Gen Z keeps letting their cars hit empty because they're scared to refuel. And then the top comment says, more pandering to the old people. Ugh, the news just stirs up crap because their ratings are dying and they're desperate for attention. Now, I personally don't believe Gen Zers are afraid to refuel their car. I myself, I'm almost a Gen Z. I'm in that weird gray area where it's like I'm not old enough to be a millennial, not young enough to be Gen Z, so I'm just stuck in between. And I can tell you, filling up my car at the gas station is one of the easiest things to do. You just click the button. Well, first you got to tap your card, insert the card, whichever one you do, hit the button, fuel up your car, and leave. There was something in this article here that I was looking at. They're afraid to refuel because they're afraid to choose the right type of gas. They're afraid they're going to park too far away from the pump, or they're afraid the pump is going to be unhygienic, whatever that means. Normally, the only thing I do at a gas station is if it says, like, hey, please go see attendant, I just go to a different pump. That's it. I rarely ever want. I'm so lazy. I don't want to walk all the way to the store, a whopping 50 feet to the store, right by the pumps, and say, hey, for some reason pump number 6 is not working, and they quickly fix it for me. Then I have to walk back out outside, pump the car. I just get back in the car, drive 10 feet, go to the next pump. That's about it. But I was laughing because on this thread here, the original poster said, it's just odd because this was on my favorite radio station that plays like modern rock and metal, mostly caters to younger audiences. I'm trying to think if they're actually talking about us. Should I message this person and be like, hey, were you listening to K-Bear by chance? It'd be very weird and very crazy that out of all the radio stations this person heard it on. Because I know Victor talked about this specific thing earlier, but he didn't go into detail about it. He was just making fun of it. Like some old person definitely wrote that article that Gen Zers are afraid to refuel their car. And of course, you got one of those people who thinks they're an expert in radio, even though they've never been in radio. So they're like, terrestrial radio by definition doesn't cater to younger audiences, and they're dying and whatever. I don't want to get into that. That could be a whole other thing to talk about for like an hour straight. Let's just move on here. For those that follow me on social media at Brenden Peach, I posted when I got on my flight from Idaho Falls to Santa Ana, John Wayne Airport. Allegiant decided to put me in the back of the plane at a window seat, which the window seat is not all that bad. On the flight back from Santa Ana, John Wayne to Idaho Falls, they put me in a middle seat, which is probably the worst possible option. Because not only am I annoying the person to the left of me, I'm also annoying the person to the right of me. And I'm just, because I'm just such a big person that I'm going to take up space. And on the flight from Idaho Falls to John Wayne, I had this highfalutin couple next to me that was so annoyed by me getting into their space. You can tell they made it obvious. They're like, oh, get this large human being away from me. He's invading my personal private space. Like, sorry, I can't help it. They make the airplane seats as tiny as possible. I now have the strategy to where I keep my wallet out, just because I know once the snack cart comes around, I don't have to go digging into my pocket and annoy the person next to me, like accidentally elbow them, that type of thing, or say, hey, sorry, I need to reach in here real quick and grab my wallet out. It's me being nice, I find this hard to believe. The reason why I'm talking about this is because there's this one lady named Katie Brooks. She's a pasta enthusiast who runs the Buona Pasta Club, a TikTok account. She shared a video of herself making fresh pasta at her seat during a recent flight. Now, she didn't cook it. She just made the pasta. I was wondering how she cooked it, but the video stops after she makes the homemade gnocchi. I forgot how exactly you say it. Sorry if I made a whole bunch of Italians mad right now. But she captioned it, POV, you hate airplane food, so you make it yourself. Adding, anyone else? The clip shows her preparing the gnocchi using ingredients she brought from home. So, of course, there's comments saying, hey, how did you get a Ziploc bag of flour through security? How are you going to cook it? Are you just going to eat it raw? Others pointed out the obvious, like you could also pack a sandwich. And this is bizarre behavior, obviously. I got to say, security has gotten way more relaxed going through the airport. You don't have to take your shoes off anymore, which is great. I threw my shoes off when I was checking in through TSA in Idaho Falls. I immediately threw my shoes off. The guy working there was like, hey, man, you don't have to do that anymore. I'm like, you don't? That's awesome. I completely forgot about that rule, even though I talked about it on the show. You just have to take your belt off if you have it on. I didn't have mine on because I already knew I was going to be going through security anyway. So, yeah, no more taking off your shoes and having to walk, shoeless in the airport for a brief bit. Then you have to sit down and put your shoes back on. Who knows? Maybe they would allow a bag full of flour onto your flight. Well, a Canadian man was pulled over and arrested last week while driving a Jeep, and outraged witnesses demand to know why. He wasn't speeding, and he appeared to be following all traffic laws. Was it because his Jeep was a child-sized pink Barbie toy? That's possible. Look at his name here, Casper Lincoln. That's the guy's name. He was seen wearing aviator sunglasses and driving the little pink toy car in the street. He told police he was going to walk to 7-Eleven to get a Slurpee, but was lazy and decided instead to borrow his roommate's daughter's Barbie Jeep. He squeezed himself behind the wheel, cruised down the road at a speed of 3 miles per hour, drawing laughs and cheers from other motorists, but then the fun was over. Officers ordered him to pull him over and placed him in handcuffs. Wonder if Lieutenant Crane has ever encountered anything like that recently or ever in his career as a Idaho State police officer. Maybe we should ask him that for Traffic School powered by the Advocates this Friday at 8:45 on the Victor Wilt Show. Some witnesses insisted he was doing nothing wrong, this guy in the pink Barbie Jeep, and argued that the arrest was a little bit excessive, but cops weren't amused. They ticketed him for driving a motorized vehicle in traffic without a license and insurance. They also suspected he was drunk, which was later confirmed when a breathalyzer got him at over the legal limit. So there's all of that fun stuff. I'm shocked this guy could fit into one of those tiny little Jeeps because usually if you're a normal-sized human, you can't. If you're like me and you're bigger than most people at age 5, you couldn't fit in those tiny little toy cars when you were that age too. I remember that specifically. My friend Brian Neal at the time, I was hanging out at his house, and it was him and another one of our friends. They both got into the toy car and drove around, and I had to sit there in the garage just because I was too big for the vehicle. Now, when I was gone, I didn't see anything really get announced tour-wise to put on our concert calendar at riverbendmediagroup.com/calendar. I feel like right now it's the quiet period before we start getting announcements for tours for 2026. Like, what's coming up for this year? I mean, it's September 9th. I'm going to our concert calendar here. There's really, there's nothing at all till September 16th. Everlast, I believe, is going to be in Boise. What's going on with our concert calendar? For some reason, it's not showing me any of the listings here. Okay, there we go. Yeah, they're going to be in Boise at the Treefort Music Hall. There's a band called Vola. If you haven't heard of them, they're awesome. They're going to be at the State Room. I think that's in Salt Lake. September 17th. Landmarks. There's a whole bunch of bands coming to the area. Hollywood Undead, the Complex in Salt Lake, September 27th. And then, of course, shortly after that, Chevelle, Asking Alexandria, Dead Poet Society live at the Mountain America Center, September 30th. You can find all the shows making their way to the area by going to our concert calendar, always available at riverbendmediagroup.com/calendar, or you can click on concert calendar on the K-Barrett 101 app, and it'll take you directly to it. Peaches Pit Party on K-Barrett 101. Last month was sort of a back-to-school special for the Riverbend Awareness Project, and now for the month of September, it's National Service Dog Awareness Month. If you're not familiar with the Riverbend Awareness Project, Melissa and Maddie, they do this podcast where they highlight important causes and issues within our community. They talk to experts within our community. So, yeah, every month of 2025, they sit down with a professional to talk about significant issues like heart health, Alzheimer's, literacy, and more. They then share that conversation with you on the Riverbend Awareness Project with the goal of providing resources and information that help you better understand the challenges and solutions surrounding each topic. September being National Service Dog Awareness Month, and they talk all about service dog training, talking about how many disabilities are invisible, so always respect service dogs, even when a person's needs aren't obvious. Be respectful of service dogs. Don't pet them or distract them while they're working. Check out the latest episode of the Riverbend Awareness Project for the month of September, National Service Dog Awareness Month, wherever you get your podcasts, or at riverbendmediagroup.com and click on podcasts. So I feel like this question, for the first to each their own in quite some time, might be too much of a thinker for a dumb segment like this. Aliens have given you 60 seconds to show them 2 items to prove humanity is worth saving. What do you show them? There was a whole Reddit thread on this question. I don't have it pulled up here, but I do remember one answer. One guy was like, there was a animal shelter he was at where he saw the 3 candles in the lobby, and there's a sign behind them that said, like, hey, someone is losing a loved one right now. Please be respectful and talk quietly, that type of thing. So he would show the aliens that, and maybe like a puppy. Someone also just said, hey, I'll just show them Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. So if you have an answer for this question, call in right now, 208-535-1015 to peach their own. Aliens have given you 60 seconds to show them 2 items to prove humanity is worth saving. What do you show them? Literally, as I'm talking about this question here, Mandy commented on the Facebook thread of the Facebook the Facebook post I made of this question. Music is definitely one of them, and maybe dogs. Call into the show. Let me know what your answer is. So today's question: aliens have given you 60 seconds to show them 2 items to prove that humanity is worth saving. What do you show them? And I'm looking here at the answers. For some reason, Red Ed put a picture of a guy with fish over his eyes. Doesn't necessarily answer the question. All the others are just dogs and music, dogs and music, dogs and music, music and dogs. Then I see cats in music. Then I see a specific answer, but it's the same thing. Van Halen's 1984 album and a carne asada taco. All right, there we go. There's a few of the answers I have so far. If you want to call me, you can, 208-535-1015. Aliens have given you 60 seconds to show them two items to prove humanity is worth saving. What do you show them? Call in. Let me know your answer. So I've been getting the exact same answers for today's To Peach Their Own question. Aliens have given you 60 seconds to show them 2 items to prove humanity is worth saving. What do you show them? Literally all I'm getting is dogs and music, cats and music, Sleep Token and Red Bull, music, and I feel like everyone's just going to put music and some type of pet. That's all I'm going to get. So I'm going to give up today's To Peach Their Own question. Appreciate those that participated on the Facebook group. For some reason, also, Facebook got rid of the community chat. They just said, we're tossing it. Don't know why, but it happened. So, yeah. So tomorrow, another new question coming your way at the top of the 4 p.m. hour here on Peach's Pit Party. So I'm just now watching that video of the Phillies Karen that I briefly mentioned on the the Shot Clock Sports Update. And she's totally what I expected to look like. What I totally expected her to look like, I should say. The haircut, the glasses, all of it. I saw the video that she was captured on live TV because the game was being, aired to television. And then somebody shared the link of the actual video of what the fan caught behind her, aggressively going towards the dad that got the baseball, who then gave the baseball to his son. The Phillies Karen runs up and goes, "You took the ball that belongs to me," and starts screaming, getting in his face. And didn't she get banned? Did I talk about that in the Shot Clock Sports Update? I don't know. Let me go back to that. I know I have the points here somewhere. No, the Savannah Bananas imitated the whole thing. Well, that lady will forever be known as Phillies Karen, and her picture, everything, is being posted. And the funny part is, I bet she doesn't even care at all. She's like, the world revolves around me and me only. I don't know how I would feel about if I had a Karen moment online, something like that. One time I just get so irritated, I start yelling at a Dairy Queen or something like that. Next thing you know, I get millions of views, people calling me a jerk and other horrible names, things like that. I mean, if you act like a Karen in public, you rightfully deserve the backlash. Just saying.
Thanks for listening to Peach's Pit Party, the podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please share, subscribe, and rate the podcast. Peach's Pit Party is hosted by me, Peaches, a.k.a. Brenden Peach, and is a production of Riverbend Media Group. For more information or to contact the show, visit riverbendmediagroup.com. Until next time, Peach out.